Hello guys, I'm Style and today I'll be doing a brief overview on Autodesk 3ds Max. We're just going to be running through the commands to set up the port view and basically what this program does and how to work it, and then we'll be getting in more in-depth tutorials like how to make proper 3D intros and cameras, all that sort of stuff. So up here we've got one of the main menus, and this is one of the most important menus. This here is the most important, but this controls a lot of stuff. You have all your links out there. This allows you to link two objects together, and it just basically groups them, if you know what that is. It's in like Microsoft Word when you group like objects together. But yeah, so that basically just links it. And then over here we've got this. It's not really that useful, it just shows off different sort of things. And this is our select object, and this is select by name. Select by name can be really useful whenever you've got a load of different objects and they're all put close together, as you can see like this here. As you see, we got two objects, and if I go to select like that, it'll select them both. So if we click select by name, we can just select one of these objects instead of both of them. And this is particularly good when a lot of objects are grouped together. As you'll see, that my computer runs quite slow. Got a really crappy processor, so bear with me if this will load. Running a lot of shit, probably shouldn't be. But anyway, I'll go to the rest of this until this loads. This just allows you to select. This is a sort of useful tool. It allows you to select stuff, and whenever you're selecting it, if the object, when you click this, here we go. See? This will only select the bots now. And there you go. But anyway, so this allows you to, once this is clicked in like this here, if you select something, the entire object must be within the selection, otherwise it won't be selected. This is the select and move tool, and it works on X, Y, and Z axis. Move up to the right, or do X and Y spaces, you can see here. Again, we got a rotate tool. This is particularly useful when used with the angle snap tool, as it allows you to rotate things to a certain degree. Like whenever this is off, it can be rotated down a degree, but whenever it's on, it goes around in 5. So it allows you to get degrees like 90 perfect. This is our scale and uniform scale sort of thing. This allows you to scale an object completely, or you can scale it. I'll try and show you here. Once this is selected, you can scale an object. If you click in the middle, it'll scale all of it, or if you click outside, like on this, it'll scale it up, to the left, to the right, etc. And next we've got our few things. This just sort of changes the viewport a bit. Pivot center, I don't really use this, and I don't really think it's that useful. You won't really need to use it. Select manipulate, you won't really need to use a lot of these. This just overrides the keyboard shortcuts, so you don't use the keyboard shortcuts and none of them will work. I don't recommend using it at all. Snaps toggle, not really that useful. Not many of these are useful, you won't need to use them. Mirror, again, not very useful. Align can be useful, it just allows you to line up stuff a lot easier. Layers can be particularly useful whenever you're working with a very large sort of thing. If you're rendering out like a scene where you've got like a massive room and you want to make sure everything's lined up so it's all right and correct, then that can be useful. Layers, yeah, again. Graphite modeling tools, you won't need to use this until you get into polygonal or mesh editing, and that is very advanced, so I wouldn't recommend doing that just yet. I'd strongly recommend against it. Again, not a lot of these things are useful, but material editor and rendering. Material editor is one of the most useful things. It just allows you to basically change the materials of what the things look like. As you see, it drags this over, and say I want this to be blue. There we go, we got blue. And when you go down here in the maps, you can change a lot of this, make it reflect, make it more glossy, use different sort of pictures like HDRI images to control stuff, etc. Specular levels, glossiness, and I'll just change up here. Mine is gonna look a little different to yours, but I don't know why it is, and I'm not really sure. Render setup. This just allows you to change all the settings for rendering, but we won't need to go through that until a later stage. So over to the command panel. This is the most useful panel in Autodesk 3ds Max, and allows you to make a lot of stuff. As you can see over here, we're on the create and geometry. Now there's a lot of different things: shapes, lights, cameras, helpers, space warps, and systems. And my computer's been doing this a lot lately, but yours should scroll down here, and you've got all of these different things. You'll really only need to use standard primitives at the moment, but there's a lot of different things you can go into, like mental ray, windows, etc. Particle systems is very useful, but it's a bit advanced for now, so I recommend sticking with the standard primitives. You can go into shapes, splines, and this is how you make your text for all the 3D intros. But you go down here, change it, change the font, the size, all of that. Then we've got our lights. Now this will be set to photometric. Please change to standard because none of the photometric will be any use to you. The main one that is used here is omni lights, and it's just a point from which light emits. It can be changed to be directional, spot, etc. Then we go into cameras. We've just got a standard cameras. There's nothing to it. It's target free. Or if you want to, you can come up here and go create cameras and create camera from view. It can be a lot more useful. Creates a target camera though to see your over here, a lot of this stuff won't be that useful unless you're sort of going into more advanced stuff, which we'll get into a later stage. Again, this is way more advanced than you need to be in, and I don't recommend messing around with it unless you know what you're doing. This is the modifier tab, and it's without a doubt one of the most useful things. It allows you to change all of the properties of the object, and then once you hit this down, you got a big list of modifiers like bevel, which should be there, but it's not because we've already got a 3D object. But if you hit text, it'll give you the bevel option. It allows you to create your 3D text, and all of these are quite useful. We'll go through quite a few of them a bit later, and they are some of the most useful things, useful modifiers in 3ds Max. It basically allows you to change the shape completely. Over here we've got hierarchy. Again, this is really more advanced than you need to go into for this. We got motion. Again, won't need it. Display, won't need it. And utilities, we still won't need it. Down here we've got our camera, or timeline actually, and this is used mainly just to change things, make things move, etc. And actually, if you want to know how to keyframe, over here just hit auto key. Click this button and set your key. We'll go up to say 50, and we'll just scale this up. And if we go back down, as you can see, it moves down as you go through it. But anyway, that's enough of that. Over here we've got basically it's just a play, stop sort of animation. It's all quite useful. Over here we got time configuration. We can change all of this to this changes the frames per second. This is how the timeline is displayed. This is the playback time. Most people just have it at 1. If you want a slower sort of thing, half or a quarter speed, or faster again. This allows you to change the length of time you have down here. For example, it's set to 100 now. If I type in 200, it will rescale the time, and we have 200 frames instead of 100. But as you can see, the keyframes move up to match with it. So that's all there is really to that. Over here we've got some useful tools. They're pretty basic. If you hold in on a few of these, as you can see, it'll give you different options. These are just basically pretty self-explanatory. There's nothing really to it. This is just basically your frames. So if we go to 50, you see it gets bigger, back down to 0, and that is showed down here. So actually, here is our view cube, I believe. This basically just allows you to rotate and look around the scene, see what's going on. So basically that's all for our first tutorial on the basics of Autodesk 3ds Max. And soon enough we'll be learning how to make pretty good 3D intros. So Stay tuned for that, and remember to subscribe to Universal GFX.